Hello and welcome to video number 1 for chapter 4. Now chapter 4 is going to be focusing on a lot of different materials here. I think I have it broken down into 3 videos for this unit as well. We're going to be starting off with material on pages 92 and 93. And the chapter focuses mainly on the search for different opportunities within a market. In the beginning, it covers the topics of segmentation and targeting, and then later it'll talk about 2 terms that you'll need to know called differentiation and positioning. Now, strategy planning is simply a narrowing down process, and with this, what we're looking at is 4 areas here, or 4 opportunities that we're looking at. Number 1, what is a company market? In the upper left, the yellow one. A market is simply a group of potential customers who have similar needs, similar wants, and are willing to exchange something, usually money, with the sellers offering the goods, the products or the services. Okay, don't just focus on the product. The product-oriented approach is not a good thing, because product-oriented approach simply focuses on the products and ignores the customers, and everything that we're talking about, we need to focus on what the customer's needs and wants are, and the market itself is made up of customers, so you have to focus on the customers, not just focusing on the product itself. Generic markets to product markets. A generic market is just a market with broadly similar needs. All right, and then sellers are offering very diverse ways of satisfying those needs. In a product market, that is when there is a market with very similar needs, and sellers are offering close substitutes in order to satisfy those needs. Things that are very, very similar and close substitutes. The bottom right corner, where it talks about broaden market definitions to find opportunities. A broader market definitions, what we're talking about here is including both generic markets and product markets. Both of them can help firms discover and find potential opportunities, but too broad of a definition makes a company's efforts and resources seem really insignificant. So you can't have too broad of a market, or else it's just not going to work appropriately. And there's just an example here of different companies that make cameras and how they make different cameras for different needs or wants that the customers have. GoPro is very well known for a lot of athletes and extreme sports especially. They can have their cameras attached to helmets, and they can have them attached to bikes and like Sea-Doos and boats and all kinds of stuff. So you can get right off the bat first-hand view during sports or any kind of thrill-seeking things that you have. Fujifilm, bottom left, has waterproof models that you can take underwater if you do scuba diving or anything like that, any kind of water sports. So there are a lot of different options that are just available. Those are just 2 quick examples that the book uses. All right, generic and product market definitions. You'll see here in the graph, the yellow is what is in the generic market definition, and then the yellow plus the red is what is in the product market definition. Now, customer needs simply refers to the needs and the wants of the customer that are currently being met by the product. Customer types is where the company will identify who specifically is using the product. Geographic area identifies where these people are located, where do they live, and those 3 components right there make up the generic market definition. Okay, this is good to know. Now you take those 3 areas and you throw in the product type. It could be a good, could be a service, could be a good and a service, and you get those 4 categories make up the product market definition. So the product type is just simply the type of good, service, or both that is offered to meet the customer's needs and wants. All right, in defining the generic market, there is no product type. That's the key thing there. There is no product type. It's just the other 3 with a generic market. And the product type turns a generic market then into the product market definition. We're talking about segmentation. 2-step process here. Segmentation is just simply clustering people or grouping people with similar needs into a market segment, a smaller grouping of people. You're just making it a little bit more specific. A market segment is a group of customers who are relatively homogeneous and who will respond to a marketing mix in a similar way. They want certain things, they have certain or very similar needs, very similar wants, and the company can attract them by using similar criteria as well. All right, so the two steps in this here, as I was just kind of talking about some things with segmenting there. Number one is naming broad product markets. Okay, sometimes it's called disaggregating, and this is where marketers break apart all possible needs into some generic markets, and then broad product markets in a way in which the firm may be able to possibly profit and operate accordingly. Sorry for that little break there. Got interrupted by a student, so I apologize. So the first part was the naming broad product markets or disaggregating. Second part is then going to be the segmenting aspect of it, which I was talking about earlier. Marketers do need information about the competition. You need to know who you're going up against, their strengths and their weaknesses. We talked about generic markets already. Talked about product markets already, and segmenting. And what we're looking at down at the very bottom, if you look at the very bottom where the blue section is, where it talks about single target market, multiple target markets, and combined target markets, these are going to be covered in the second video. So all I want you to understand here is that everything again should be centered around the needs and the wants of the customers. You always focus on the needs and the wants of the customers. You always want to make sure that everything is focused on them, because if you're not making products, goods, or services here that are focused on the needs and the wants of the customers, it's pretty much pointless, and you're not going to be successful in that regard. Alright, so market segmentation groups, what market segmentation does is it will group customers with similar needs. So here we're talking about, if you're looking above that little table there, it talks about broad product market name. You talk about whatever it is that you're looking at. You're looking at bicycle riders here. So they have 5 different categories or segments that they're referring to of people who use bicycles. Segment 1, the submarket 1 is people who use them for exercise. Number 2, off-road adventurers, mountain bikers, or that kind of thing. Number 3, for transportation, getting from one place to another. Number 4, socializers who use bikes. They just ride with friends and go out for long travels with friends, and they do that as a way to get away. And then number 5, environmentalists who don't want to use pollution for the cars, and they want to try to save the So this here is just an example where you can see 5 different sub-markets for this broad product market of all bicycle riders, and it just gives you an idea as to how many different elements there are included in this. So how far should the aggregating go? Now this right here is pages 99 and to 100, like in that range here, giving you an idea. So in this exhibit, what is shown here is that you can segment a market into any number of segments. 3 segments is 4-5 part A, and then you have 6 different segments in section B over there. So you have a 3-segment product market and a 6-segment product market. So how far should a marketer go in actually aggregating similar consumers in the target markets? So there are some criteria in regards to segmenting that you should be aware about. Homogeneous and heterogeneous. Homogeneous refers to similar. Alright, so homogeneous is when the customers in a market segment should be as similar as possible, and this is in regards to their responses to the marketing mix. How will they reply and respond to your price, your product, your place, and your promotion? The heterogeneous or different is when the customers in different segments should be as different as possible with respect to their responses to the marketing mix as well. Okay, and again, marketing mix, you got to remember, is the price, the product, the place, and the promotion. You have to make sure, though, also that every single one of these segments needs to be substantial in the sense that they have to be big enough in order to be profitable. If you're looking at the chart B over on the right-hand side, you notice how some of those are significantly smaller than the ones that you see over in chart A. So you have to make sure that they are big enough and large enough to be able to be profitable. All right, the dimensions also, the segmenting dimensions should also be useful for identifying customers and making decisions based on your marketing mix as well. All right, brings us to checking your knowledge. I'm talking about a neighborhood restaurant in a diverse market area sought to appeal to a wide range of consumers by offering a menu with a few choices from each of several different styles of cuisine, including American, Italian, Chinese, German, Thai, and Indian. Recently, the restaurant has lost sales to newer restaurants that offer many choices from a single style cuisine. This example illustrates the danger of adopting a blank approach. Now, I don't like that the manufacturer put this question prior to actually talking about these, but I want to go through this here quickly, give you the correct answer, and then in the next video, I will explain more detailed what each of these approaches are. All right, so what we're looking at here, the neighborhood restaurant has really combined multiple submarkets. You notice they had American, Italian, Chinese, German, Thai, and Indian. So there are 6 separate submarkets there that they are combining into one larger target market as a basis for their strategy. So in doing so, what they are using is what's called a combined target market approach. They're not going with just one specific group of people. They are including 6 separate groups and combining them all together to create one larger target market. So that's going to be your combined target market, which the best answer here would be letter C. All right, that's all for video number 1, and I will be loading video number 2 in a little bit. Have a good one.